All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Overshot, a paintball podcast. Before we get started with our guests, you know the deal. I got to tell you about the guys that help us out, and that's Zana Sportsman. They make joggers, they make gloves, all kinds of awesome stuff. You can go on their website and check it out. They're always signing new teams. I mean, their woods ball teams are hard to keep up with for their scenario play, but for X-Ball and the NXL, I know they have Seattle Thunder on their team. Patty Gleason's on that. All his off-the-leash stuff is on their website. So if you go to their website, which I have down below, dizanasports.com, and use code Overshot, you'll get 10% off anything you buy there. Definitely go check them out. Like I said, they got tons of cool stuff, t-shirts, hoodies, anything you're looking for, go check them out. And our other sponsor for this episode is a company I love, is Volcano. Man, they make the best bags on the market, if you ask me, dude. I mean, if it's all my stuff, it's not too small. People be like, oh, it's so small. Oh, that's bullshit, dude. It's a perfect bag for all your shit, and it goes on your back. You're not dragging it through the ground. Like I said, our guest is from the Northeast, man. It snows up here. It sucks. You're trying to wheel your bag around. Don't got to worry about that up here, man. This thing goes on your back, and you're good to rock. The website is below, Volcano USA, and the code there is Overshot10. You got to throw the 10 out the end, and you'll get 10% off the bag. Anything else, they got cool shirts and hats and everything like that. The other thing I got to tell you about is our Patreon. If you want to help, the best way to just directly help us out, which will get us to do more things, is our Patreon. We have different levels of subscription, which will give you different things off, merchandise and all kinds of other stuff. So definitely please help us out if you can. Anything really helps, dude, to try and make this an awesome podcast. And before I get started with the guests, I just want to let you know, if you want to come see us and hang out with Waldo and myself, we this weekend are bowling at a charity tournament. It is the Savage Squeaks Classic. Unfortunately, we lost someone this year, and this is a charity tournament to help with that. It's the Savage Squeaks Classics at OXCC. You want to come hang out with some of the Overshot crew, like I said, myself and Waldo. We're going to be balling out. We're coming for that prize. So if you're there, look out, bro. We're coming for that prize. But now that I'm done with that, dude, we have Jake Madden from Revo on the show, dude. We cannot be happier to talk to him, man. Thanks for coming on, dude.
How you doing, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thanks again for coming. So we always like to kick this off. So what birthday party got this going for you, man? How'd you find paintball? Whose birthday was it?
So my father and my grandfather used to play in the woods all the time way back when, over 20 years ago. And then one weekend, out of nowhere, my dad's like, let's go play in the paintball. Let's go play in the woods. So yeah, we went Top Gun paintball for the first time. And ever since that first time, running around the woods with little Tippin 98, I've been hooked. Going on about 7-8 years now.
Oh, dude, that's sick.
Since that time.
Yeah. Awesome. So, what was your kind of trajectory through paintball? You said you went to Top Gun, you played in the woods, so you kind of got introduced to fields right away. But did you just play rec, or I know they have an airball field, so you saw that and it kind of drew you to that? What was your kind of launch?
My trajectory is actually kind of interesting. So we played in the woods for, I would say, 6 months to a year. But around that time, around Top Gun, T1 Trent Top Gun Union was around. So I all of a sudden started to be absorbed with the pro guys. I was always around them. I just loved watching them. Ever since saw T1 play, I knew from then I wanted to play pro paintball. So after that, then we played, I was on a Division 4, Division 5 team out of Top Gun for a little while. Then unfortunately, T1 fell apart at one point. So there's no more pro team at Top Gun. So I was in a situation where, man, I want to play pro, but right now, there's no one here. I'm not getting any full exposure. So me, my father, a good friend of mine who's also in Baltimore Revo now, went and we tried out for Baltimore Revo 2 down at Paintball Adventure Park down in 20town, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And we were on Revo 2 for about 2 full seasons. But we were driving down there almost every weekend to practice because if you want to get on a pro team, the best way to do it is constant exposure in front of them. Let them get to know you. Let them see you. Always practice them. That's the way.
Be that annoying kid that's always there. Like, hey, I'm here. What's up?
Exactly. Always ask questions. Always ask, hey, how is this? Hey, how is this? Why'd you do this? Why'd you think this? Just be around is the easiest thing I always tell people. Right. So we were around them for about 2 years. And then we had a season where we wanted to move up, but it was in a little tricky situation with teams moving and a lot of moving pieces went around. So we winded up going back to Top Gun for a single season in semi-pro. I knew after my second D3 season, I was like, all right, I need to play pro soon. Like I put in a lot of work. I need to keep on putting in work. So I felt the best way for me to do that is to get I know I wasn't ready, but I knew that a season in semi-pro would help me get to almost that like tipping point. I know I wasn't there in D3, but I was hoping a year in semi-pro and as a bridge season would get me there. And here we are today. Last year was my first, kind of full year with Revo.
That's like you want to like throw yourself in like a sink or swim kind of moment, you know?
Yeah, I knew that I wasn't good. I didn't want to be one of those players that was stuck in D3, D2 forever. That wasn't me. I wasn't in it for, don't get me wrong, I'm in it for the fun, but I love to compete and I wanted to be at the highest level I could. So I wasn't about to sit in Division 3 playing X-Ball for, there's people that do that. So if that's for them, that's for them. I have no harm and foul against them. That's not what I want to do. I keep on the trajectory.
I've seen people in this area like hit that like D2 rank, bro, and they get kind of like stuck almost. You know what I mean? Because our area is not exactly like flooded with those high level teams. So once they hit that rank, they were like kind of fucked.
That's what. So that was like a lot of questions asked. Like when we started Supreme, why'd you skip D2? And that was always our first answer. Teams that sometimes go to D2 are stuck in D2. So we might get our teeth kicked in the first 2 events in semi-pro, which we did, and I was expecting that. I knew we were still a partially D3 team, and then we went to semi-pro, and then the last half of the season, we took a 6th and I think a 7th. So we were on a right trajectory upwards, but season semi-pro really helped me out in terms of experience and skill-wise.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure, because like you said, you're in D3, you're going to that semi-pro, like, that's like a pretty big jump as far as talent goes. A lot of the semi-pro guys were pro at one point, so you're really, getting that crash course education quick.
Yeah, it came quick, but I think it came easier playing as Revo 2 because we were constantly practicing pro teams. So there were times where there's always not many teams that are D3 teams that get to practice at Baltimore Revo, that get to have the 3 or 4 points against the Houston Heat. They get to travel with the team to Fox 4 and watch them play Impact. So that I felt like we had a good advantage in that point. So I think that also really helped. It all comes back to the point of being around a pro team and learning from a pro team.
Oh, 100%. So what did you play any local leagues like, well, other than like NXLs when you were with Revo 2? Because I know there are other local leagues in the area.
So with Revo 2, the only other local league we played one time to get started as Revo 2 was the BPL that we won. It was Division 4 Baltimore Paintball League, and we won. Before that, when I was playing under a Top Gun team, we were just playing EPLs, and I think they were 5 stars events, so quick shot events, nothing too.
Yeah. I was just curious if maybe you like any XLs or something you guys would maybe look into or something like that.
That was always a talking point, but then it got to the point says so it was funny. So we always joke around with the old Revo 2 guys. We were the best D3 team never to podium. We were consistently 1 or 2 in the series, but it was because we took 4th every single event. We took 4th, 5th.
Yeah.
So it was just something that we were so consistent, but we just couldn't break the top peak, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, you're constantly there, but never, like you said, on the podium. So going into, was your first year like pro like last year, even though it was kind of like not real, like it was only 2 events?
So I played Vegas and I had to sit out of the cup for other reasons.
Okay. But that was your first year like pro?
Correct.
Cool. So like, tell us about that first Vegas event, man. Like, what was it like, dude? This is the first time you're stepping on the pro field, dude. So tell us the feelings. What was going through your head?
So off season and going into Vegas, I knew my role. I'm a team player. I knew I was a soldier. I wasn't expecting to go in, be the 6th man, be a starter right off the bat. I was very, very honest with myself, and I'm very honest with the team. I'm a developmental young player in the pro division. A lot of the pro division is getting older and older, so sometimes you see some of the younger guys start coming in, and they're developmental players to start. Not many are coming in 20 years old and just starting off the bat every point. So I came in, I have to practice. I take my licks. I listen to what I'm told. I do what I'm told. And every practice, I just try to be better and better and better than I was before.
Yeah, dude, that's a good approach to have, man. Just be better than you were, the day before, and then good things will happen, man.
Yeah, so first practice, I remember we practiced level and we practiced, maybe it was just level. So going to them, like, all right, this is the first pro team I've ever practiced. I went through that. Then the second weekend we went down to damage, and I got a couple points in. I wasn't expecting to practice every point, the weekend before an event, practicing a top 5 team, and I was like, wow, these guys are good. And that was the first time I ever like felt out of place on the field for a couple minutes.
Yeah. Dude, that's too funny. That's too funny. So another question I got to ask you, because, you're really like balling out with some big dudes now. Who are some of the guys that have really helped you on the team? I mean, we hear Maddie say their names, the Henry Stens, O'Mara, all these guys. But who's someone on the team that's really like showing you the path?
So the person that's definitely, I feel, showed me the path most is definitely Henry Stens. When I was on Revo 2, he took me and the other player, Jack Walchesson, who's on Revo as well, under his wing, pretty much. I mean, all the guys are great. All of them help unbelievably. Every time I practice, I get better and better and better. I learn more and more and more. We were just at the Invitational this weekend, and I was on a call saying, how do I think I did? And for the first time, when I practiced pro team, I said, this is the first time I felt like I belonged. I wasn't dominated off the field. I held my own. I was able to consistently play. So, but in terms of the person who took me under his wing first on Revo was definitely Henry Stens.
Yeah, it's like I've spoken to Henry a couple of times. He's a fucking solid dude. Solid dude.
Yeah, I love Henry.
I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool because like I know who he was, and this was, I mean, probably like 3 or 4 years ago, playing one of the WTSs, and he was playing with Vinyl Gentleman, and I was like, he would probably talk to me for like 5 minutes, but I thought it was so cool because he didn't have to. Like, dude, I'm a D4 scrub. Nobody knows who I am. He didn't have to even say 2 words to me. He could have given me a weird look and walked away, but he didn't.
So one of the things that I always try and do, and then all the players on Revo try to do, is we always try to help. It's just more so that, not just for you, if anyone comes up and they say, ask a question, they ask who we are, we never want to be mean or like some like shrug off or say, we're pro, get away from me. That's just not right. That's just not how you grow the sport. I mean, that's what happened to me. So I learned under T1. T1 didn't say, go away, little kid. Don't sit here and watch, or don't ask any questions. It just is, I treat others the way you want to be treated, especially even in paintball. That follows me everywhere.
Yeah, no, for sure. So another thing I want to get into a little bit now, of course, we'll get into the invitational because I'm sure all the listeners want to hear too. But Waldo showed me some notes here on the side and said you played on Fox 4 Dark Side last year is that for the mechanical events?
So I played with him during an ICPL, and I think I'm going to play with him during the ICC this year. So, I mean, that was my first time ever playing mechanical. I'm really close to Dave Painter, and obviously his connects with Revo, so I played under him. So, I mean, that was my first time ever since probably when I first started playing paintball, running around in the woods, and that was a blast. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, I love those events. I mean, I try and play all of them. I didn't go to Chicago, because of the thing that's going around that everyone likes to talk about right now.
Yeah. I think the one I went to was the one in Florida. I don't know what it's called.
Me too. It was at Central Florida. Yeah.
Yep. That was at Damages Field.
Yep. Yeah. No, I was there too, dude. Dude, those fields are sick. The one with the tank in the middle, even the hyperball. Dude, it was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah. That was good. It was a great time. I loved it. So that was my first time playing. I was like, oh, I'm just going to keep on doing this.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying you're going to play ICC. Are you going to play any of the other ICPLs with them or just ICC?
If they're looking for a player, and I can, and it permits, I will. I'm not going to commit to it, I would say. So if I talked to Dave and Dave said, hey, do you want to play ICPL? We can use another guy. Yeah, I would love to go with. It's a blast. It's fun. Again, another different way of gaining paintball experience. Almost playing, every team usually has pro players on it, so you're going to go out there and you're going to play woods ball against the pros instead of on a speedball field.
Dude, that's why I love it. I'm sure the listeners are sick and tired of me talking about it, but dude, I get to fucking go against the pros, dude. It's fucking sick.
Well, it makes it accessible too, because that's not always something that anybody's able to do in terms of speedball or just in general playing against the pro. So you can line up against them in woods ball, and it's just 2 people with paintball guns. Anything can happen.
Dude, yeah, dude. Like I'll shout this from the Sky Tops, dude. At ICC 2 years ago, dude, we got matched up against Dynasty in the semifinals, dude. I got to fucking play Dynasty. I'm a D4 nobody, dude.
Yeah, that's what anything can happen in the woods.
Anything can happen. I mean, they absolutely fucking rolled us, but dude, I got to play.
You could say you played against Dynasty. You're on the same field.
Fuck yeah, I can. And,
I was alive for 30 seconds. It was good.
Still,
probably close to 25, Dynasty. But yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, like I said, that like memories, dude. I'll take like I mean, I'm not gonna like shit on like I hope no one else gets offended, but I'm sure there's gonna be people that play paintball that will never get that opportunity, and I got it, dude.
It's 100% it. It's some people never have the experience of witnessing or getting anywhere near pro paintball besides watching the grandstands at events. So anytime you have an opportunity to talk to one, learn from one, play against one, it has to be taken. Yeah.
Do it. All right, cool. So now we'll keep getting into it. I guess we'll get into it because I'm sure it's what listeners want to hear. The Pro Invitational was this weekend. The Smack Talk was on an all-time high. I mean, you guys absolutely crushed it. I love this shit talk. I love it, dude. It's so much fun. But so walk our listeners through the event if they get a chance to catch it. I had to work one of the days, so I could only watch Saturday, unfortunately. But walk us through maybe a couple points on that event.
So first, I want to say shout out to Alan, who runs the events, the owner of NRG. He runs the whole event. He did a phenomenal job. The field was phenomenal. Everything was perfect. The pitting, it was just a well-run event. So if we're ever invited back and we have a chance to go back it's a practice tournament, so it was a great way to knock rust off. My vote was 100% to go back. It was very well run. It was just a great overall weekend.
It looks like a nice field. Like I've never been there, and all I could see is what like the broadcast shows, but it just looks like everything is set up perfect.
It's very well put together and well run. So it's a top tier field.
Dude, sick. So yeah, maybe walk us through some of the more controversial games or some of the games where you absolutely stunned on people. Okay,
so it was a 7-team round robin. It was us, 2 semi-pro teams, and 4 other pro teams. The pro teams being the ML Kings, Trade My Gun Outlaws, NYX, I'm forgetting what, NRG Elite, and then the 2 semi-pro teams are Crisis, Carolina Crisis, and Austin Notorious. So first day we had ML Kings and Crisis and Notorious. So going into this event, we were invited. We weren't cocky, but we knew our place. So we know that we were a top 5 team. We knew this is a good event to knock the rust off. We didn't want to go in there with our chest puffed out, acting like a top 5 team, but we knew what we were supposed to do.
I'll say it so you don't have to. You guys were clearly the favorites. You were clearly the best team there.
We had that in the back of our heads, but we didn't want to project that. We wanted to go back. We wanted to go in there. We wanted to knock off some rust. We just wanted to play Revo Paintball, which we did 5 out of 6 matches. So the first match against ML Kings, Mercy Rule. I think it was 7-1.
Yeah. No,
Second match, Carolina Crisis, 6-0. Another one.
I'm going to say they didn't score 1. Yeah.
No. And then the third match is what got interesting. So Austin Notorious, FSU. So I'm going to take no props away from those guys. They played well all weekend. They beat us 5-4. They beat Trade My Gun. They overall played well. So I'm not going to take anything away from them. They performed well. We went into that match almost, I don't want to say unprepared, just almost cocky in a sense, I think. So we knew that we were supposed to steamroll them. We went out there. We couldn't push a snake, and all of it got to a point where we're like, oh, wow, we're down 3 points and there's a minute 50 seconds left. What are we going to do?
How did this happen? What the fuck?
Yeah, so all of a sudden we're losing points. We have no presence on the snake side, and we're like, oh, we're going to lose this match here, guys. We have under 2 minutes to score 3 points. So we stopped. We're like, all right, we're not playing Revo Paintball right now. We're not communicating. We're not working as a team. We're not doing as we're supposed to do. So at the end of the match, if all of a sudden something clicked and we started playing Revo Paintball. So we scored 2 points in a minute 20, 3 points if we had another 2 seconds, we would have tied the match.
Oh.
So we wound up losing to Austin Notorious, and it was a very humbling, eye-waking experience. I'm glad it happened here than not at the first event in Florida, for sure.
Right.
So we had a team meeting that night, and we said, a semi-pro team just kicked their ass, and they deserve it. We looked horrible. They played well. They opened our eyes going into.
Yeah. Don't sugarcoat it or beat around the bush. Like, it is what it is. You know, you guys got to take it head on.
We got beat. There's nothing else we can say. We got to fix this, and we got to come back, and we got to show what we have. Show what we really are capable of. And then the next day, the playing talked for itself. I think we beat NYX 8-2. We beat Trade My Gun. I think it was 7-1 too, and I think we beat NRG 9-4.
Yeah, it had to feel nice to beat NYX. I mean, they're talking so much crap on the internet right now.
Yeah, that's So I'm along for the ride. I try not to partake in as much as the craziness of it. I let the other guys who are in the middle of it go for it, and I sit in the back sidelines laughing all the jokes, laughing everybody cracking everything. So it's hysterical. It's even funnier in the pits than it is on camera.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure what goes on in the pits is nothing to like. Yeah, I'm sure it's hysterical.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, like I said, 5 out of 6 matches we played Revo paintball. We showed what we were supposed to go there to do. We were supposed to go there and essentially, on paper, clean slate. And we did 5 out of 6 matches, and luck fell into our hands that the Kings beat Notorious, and we came out victorious of the event.
Yeah, it always feels nice to win the trophy, right?
Yeah. It's even if it's a practice trophy, it still felt good to do what we came to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we're like, I think it's like roughly 6 weeks away from the first event. I mean, training has got to like start to get up soon. So what are you guys doing at like Revo as a team to get ready for the first event? Is this like kind of gym time right now, or dudes are kind of maybe getting back into the gym, or is it like full grind mode? We're here on the weekends, even though the layout's not out yet, putting in the work.
I would say it's a good mix of both. During the gym, keeping a steady workout plan during the week, trying to shed off the quarantine pounds, just get back in shape, keep it going. That was one of the big reasons why we played the exhibition. It's a knock off the rust. It was an excellent practice. Not many times you get to practice 5 pro teams for a weekend straight.
Right.
So that was one of our big things and our main reasons behind going. So I mean, the next 6 weeks we have drills for a couple weeks individually. So we have the travel guys can stay home, don't have to travel, and then the first 2 weeks we'll get on the layout. The first week will be at our home field at the Top Gun Paintball in New Jersey. And the second week we may travel, we may stay, but it's going to be a grind now to the first event.
Yeah. So, I mean, how much are you looking forward to finally get back to like a whole season? Not just like, I mean, last year was shitty, man. I mean, 2 events, you're saying you had to miss, World Cup for whatever personal reasons or whatever. But the way you look, if you asked me, last year was pretty much like kind of a wash. I mean, so how excited is the team to get a full season?
We're really excited. So we thought we were cut short after Vegas last year. We had a great performance in Vegas last year. We burnt out towards the end. We beat Heat, I think, in the Ochos. Then we beat Dynasty in the quarters. So we were there, and we just ran out of gas at the end. So we're hoping this year that we can just pick up where we left off after they had a pretty good performance at Cup, and then win an event this year, get on the podium. That's our goal for sure.
Representing for the Northeast, man. Show those guys 100%. Out west that a little snow won't hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
But so the other thing I definitely want to talk to you and get your input on is I know you have the Team USA Invitational is also coming up soon, and you're a part of that. So maybe can you talk to us about what you do with Team USA and the kind of stuff that goes on there?
So I was chosen to Team USA before the pandemic broke out in March. There was an open combine for the tryouts. So I made the team after the tryout. We were supposed to go to Amsterdam, I believe, last year. This year we're supposed to go to France. We have practices in Paintball Fit in Texas, Blast Camp in Indiana, and then Boston Paintball up in Boston. So it's just all the top U19 players from around the country. We just come and we compete. So a couple of us I had to get a year extension because of COVID. So I now technically out of the age bracket, but they gave the players an age extension because we couldn't compete in the last year.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So we want to go and win gold. We have a very good team. We have 4 players on pro lines on the Team USA. Me on Revo, Harrison Stanton on AC Dallas, Austin Beatty on Aftermath, and Christian Martinez in the Airmen.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have another 4 guys that play semi-pro, and then the other 3 guys are playing D2. So we feel like we're a stacked U19 team.
Yeah, solid for sure, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So do you just play like tournament style, or do you get into like the scenario games at all, or is it just all gas, no breaks? If there's not a trophy with a 1 on it, I'm not interested.
Mostly gas, no breaks, but I do enjoy events like ICPL as little breaks in the middle, or like local woods open events. sometimes it's unfortunate now that I wish I could play a local like D4 event, but I'm like, oh wait, I'm ranked pro or whatever.
Yeah.
So I can't always play. So
I got a selfish plug here. My
Hit 'em with
Tri-State
it.
Expo League, we're doing an elite division, which is semi-pro roster rules. So you're allowed 2 pros. Brett Messer's putting a team in with Harrison Fry and all the old guys who used to play Bay State Bandits. The Brooklyn Bears are playing with Frank from Revo and Robbie that used to play on NYX. And then I even think Harris and Sloviak are playing on Wreckage. So I mean, I'm sure between you could probably have you, Henry, and I mean the squeezers, get the squeezer dudes, or I mean, I know you guys just had tryouts, so I mean, you can even just roll into that. I mean, how did the tryouts end up going?
The tryouts went well. So we brought out a buddy of mine who played with us on Supreme, Chris Shear. We knew that we might be losing a couple players on the bench. Josh Pike's not playing this year. Max Trailer's not playing this year. So we thought that adding one more in depth and one more good versatile player would help us a lot. So I said, hey, let's bring Chris Shear out. He played on T1. He played on Ironman. He played on NRG. He played with me on Supreme, so I know him personally.
Right.
He played well. And then his invitation was extended to the Invitational at the exhibition. And he played really well over there on the D side. Watching it, he was wearing a trailer jersey. He was running down the field, and he was offered a spot full time on Revo. So we picked him up from the tryout.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Shear, dude. Good job, buddy.
Shout out.
For sure.
So, what announcers do you like better in paintball? I'm gonna get to some real questions. You're gonna make someone not like. So, do you like who are your favorite in the booth? Do you like Rich with Maddie better, or do you like it better with Todd? I have personal feelings about Nick because the Ironmen have been my favorite pro team since I started following paintball. So I'm biased against Nick. I love when Nick's up in the booth, but who do you like?
I like Todd. I love Todd as a person. He's hysterical. He's a good guy. He's just
so
all
funny,
around.
Dude.
Yeah, he's super funny. He's a great person.
Mm-hmm. I love Rich too. Rich is funny too. He'll come with some nice one-liners, dude, and I'll start cracking up.
Yeah, they're up in the booth. When I watch the replays, they say some funny stuff. I was like, wow, that's a good one to come up with on the air, especially when they're cracking jokes about like the old ways Revo were and just funny stuff before I got around. I'm like, oh, I remember that time.
Yeah. Like I said, so funny. So at the tryout, man, did anybody else make an impact on you, like on the team? Was there anyone that like stood out that maybe didn't get picked up, but you were like, damn, dude, this guy can ball?
So we extended I guess we can call it a further tryout to come back and practice us to two kids from Leverage and one person from the Mideast that played for NRG, Jordan Kohler, and then the two kids from Leverage were Chris Caputo and Frankie. I don't know his last name, to be honest.
Frankie,
but those are the three that
something. Yeah, they're killers.
Yeah,
sure.
I don't. Yeah, so those three are the three that we came to try out with. I think going into it, they were very good. I think the overall look is that we have two developmental players already, and Chris was already pro seasoned, and that's what we needed at this very time. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where the decision went and the decision made. But it was nothing against Chris and Frankie and Jordan. We asked them, it was like, hey, you guys balled out this weekend. You guys are more than welcome to come back and practice with us, try out again, and see where we are at a future date, because nobody ever knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, be that annoying kid that's right there poking, because you never know, man.
Exactly.
What do you think of the new setup the NXL is doing with the Super Cup and all this other stuff and the single payout at the end? Is it something that you're like, I don't really even care about, like whatever, or what are your opinions on it?
I think it's different. I don't feel one way or another. I mean,
right, me neither. I'm kind of like you.
It's like, okay, does it change stuff for a lot of teams? No. Does it change stuff for a handful of teams that constantly win events? Yes, I can see where the downside is there, but is it going to be a downside for 49 other teams? Not necessarily, and I think it's also going to lead to a lot more hunger and drive at World Cup, to be honest. All of a sudden, everyone's going to want that check instead of one check throughout the season. or one trophy compared to another trophy throughout the season.
Right. I think the same thing. I think our World Cup or whatever called Super Cup or Champions Cup, whatever the hell they're calling it, you're going to see there's going to be some bloodbaths there, man.
Yeah, but in the end, at the end of every event, everyone wants the trophy. Everyone wants the medal. The check is like, okay, this covers some costs. Everyone wants to say, I won NXL Forward, I won NXL, blah, 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 blah. So that's the main prize is still there, in my opinion.
Right. I don't think we're letting the cat out of the bag here, and that the first place and second place prizes are not that much in comparison to what it cost. Most people are doing this for the trophy with the number 1 on it, dude.
Exactly. Same way I feel.
But cool. So, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but maybe you can give us a little something extra. We got a lot of younger listeners that listen to this, and up and comers. Maybe another piece of advice you can give them to help themselves get noticed. Like I said, always be there. But is there something maybe on the field that they could do to help themselves get noticed, or anything like that to maybe put themselves on the radar of a team like Revo or something like that?
So I would say the biggest thing is not only to be on a feeder team, that always helps, of a pro team, but the pro division is always looking for attackers. It's not as much as a 2-game as it is. All the older guys, all the vets, all the Marcelo Margats, the Ryan Greenspans, the Henrys, the Derulas, all of them are outstanding 2s. So young guys are going to come in necessarily and beat out a 2 spot. So if you really, really want to stand out, I always say be hyper aggressive, but be smart aggressive. Don't go running down the field with 4 shots and just start wiping them all off and say, I'm in there, snake 1.
Yeah.
Keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing down the field, and you'll get noticed eventually. So aggression in younger people are what teams necessarily need and look for. And a 1 can always develop into a 2. It's very hard for a 2 to develop into a 1.
Yeah. Like I hear that from a lot of dudes. Like it's really easy to throttle back a dude's aggression, but it's super hard to teach somebody who's not aggressive to be aggressive.
You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
So it's as easy as that. So the 2 biggest things I say is be aggressive to the point where it's still successful, but you stand out, and don't cheat, or at least don't get caught cheating in front of pros, because if you do that to impress them, they usually don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, don't be hitting the buzz with a bunch of hits on them. Don't be scumming people, dude.
Yeah. So if you're trying to cheat just to make yourself look better, it's not going to work, because we notice everything now when we're watching. So I see stuff differently now after 1 event and 5 practices with Revo than I did prior. So I can see if someone does a little something that doesn't look usual. I'm like, oh, okay, that's something's going on there.
A little sus.
Yeah, a little sus.
Cool, man. So you got, like I said, you got the team going in the future. You have yourself on Team USA. Do you want to do more international travel? Like I said, Team USA is going to be playing in like France. Do you have aspirations of maybe, because I know the NXL Europeans are 1 pro, like if a team approached you, would that be something you'd be interested in going over there to compete?
If a team approached me, that would definitely be a consideration, depending on cost and coverage, to be honest. I played over there once. Me, a couple other players, and we took Henry Sense and Josh Pike over there, and we competed in D1 over there, and it was an absolute blast. We played NXL Europe, London, and we had so much fun. So I would love to go back over there. I would play pro, and I would play semi-pro. I don't know as much as an expense-wise if I would go and play semi-pro. Experience is experience. So if I had an opportunity to go play at a high level over there, I would 100% entertain it.
Yeah, no, that's sick. Plus, you get to see parts of the world. I think that's one thing that the sport can bring people, because it's definitely not bringing money, is, like you said, going to hang out in France for a little bit, or, London or wherever.
Yeah, the travel, it's some people just don't ever get to travel in their lives without anything. But people, besides camaraderie and having fun with everybody, you get to travel over the country and potentially all over the world. You get to see things people don't get to see. And you get to step on a field and compete and hang out with people that are your brothers. So it's almost like it's the best of both worlds in a sense.
Right, exactly. You get the ball with the boys, and you get to go out and have beers at some exotic place, dude.
Yeah, it's great. It's the overseas events, besides the viewing, besides the travel, it's it's just a great time. So anybody has a chance to play any division overseas, I would always recommend it. If you have the opportunity, you have the time, and you have the funds, and you have the skills, take advantage of it.
Oh, dude.
Because of that London trip is something I will always remember.
Yeah.
How much fun we had.
Dude, for sure. Like, that's one of my goals, is to try and make it to like a European event. I hear a lot about like, Woods Ball Classic event. I heard a lot about Woods Ball events in Europe in general being like absurd, like jungle warfare like stuff. So that's something that's definitely on like my checklist to go check something like that out.
Yeah,
so,
that'd be cool.
Right. So another thing I definitely want to ask is, and you don't have to go too like, don't give me all the secrets, but how are your practices set up? Like, do you guys, is it like, if we're, say the layout's out and it's like 2 weeks before, like, are you guys doing like, is it like, okay, we're gonna, do drills first and then we're gonna run points or is it like strictly bringing in teams? Like, what kind of happens in the camp when you guys are getting ready?
So we'll always get the layout. We'll break it down first. We'll walk it for a couple hours. We'll talk. We'll do a first depiction of who's going to play what side and where.
Mm-hmm.
But really, our first Saturday and Sunday, our only goal is to not to come off the start box. We'll put a half a skid of paint behind the start box, and we'll just sit there and say, we invite teams out to mega practice all the time. We have multiple fields, but we say we're going to be on the field. Anyone who wants to step on the field, let's go. That's fine. You can keep on coming in. Just keep on rotating. When we come off, someone else comes off. But our first thing is to play as many points as possible in the first 2 days, then decipher after, okay, this worked. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, he played better here than there. So the first thing for Revo is always just to play over 100 points in 2 days.
Yeah, and then break it down from there and see what you guys can do.
Yeah. So then the second weekend, we get a little more specific. We start to know who the starting five are. By Thursday at the event, we know who the starting five are. Then we know who the 6th and 7th men are. We know who's hot at the event. We know who's needs a little waking up, who's a little cold. So it's a progression up into it. So the first weekend, we usually bring teams in. The second weekend, we might go somewhere, or we might bring another team in. Like last year before Vegas, we went down to practice damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually the formula for us.
Is there a particular team that you guys like enjoy practicing with, or you think makes practicing easier? Because I know you guys have had Level come a couple of times. I don't know if you went to them or they came to you. I know you guys have practiced. Is there like a team that maybe like, I like practicing with these guys because they help us learn the field more, versus a team like person, and I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe like Damage is a team that's more like, they're going to help us learn the field, but they're the best competition we could play, so let's play them,
Yeah, so I think what you said was almost pretty spot on. Even back when I was on Revo 2, when Level was still DC All-Stars, they used to come to PAP and they would practice Revo. So they've always been coming to Revo. So the Level guys are great. They're awesome dudes. We just, not necessarily any specific team the first weekend. Anyone that wants to come that's on our bracket, we bring in. And we try the second weekend to really hone it down to, okay, this top team is going to really, 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 not necessarily the teams aren't in the first weekend aren't going to give us competition, but the second weekend we're going to a top tier team and we're really going to drill down and just see where we stand in a sense.
Yeah, no, that's smart. That's fucking sick, dude. So what, you've had a ton of different sponsors over the years, man. What are some of like your favorite guns? I know you guys have been with PE for a while. Is that all you've ever known, man?
No, I've actually jumped around a lot. So in terms of sponsorship, when I really had to start using design gear, was with Revo 2. And that was when the first year we played Revo 2, they were still with Dye, actually. So we were shooting the M2s the first year with Revo 2. Okay. The second year with Revo 2, we shot PE. The semi-pro season with Supreme, we shot the Empire 6s and then like the GI Stealths. Yeah. And now these past 2 years, we've been back with PE. So PE is definitely my choice of. If I could choose one thing, I'd definitely be playing Eclipse. That's been my favorite.
Buttery smooth.
Yeah, our new Revo 2 CS Pros are just exceptional. They came out great in the anodized, and the black and purple, they just do phenomenal work.
Yeah, dude, they look sweet, dude. They look sweet.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, cool, man. So, I mean, we've hit a ton of different stuff here. We hit the lineage here. We talked about the upcoming invitationals. We talked about what's coming up with you. So again, I kind of asked you who got you here, but so Jake, this is the point in time where we let you shout out, the people that have helped you get to where you are and all that. So, I mean, take that opportunity, man. Anyone who's helped you get to where you are, man, give them a shout out.
So I think it would have to be 4 different people. So the first would definitely be my father for bringing me into the sport and taking me along the way and help me out and always being there for me with me. The second would probably be my current mentor, Henry Sense. I'm currently under his wing right now on Baltimore Revo, teaching me the ropes, teaching me everything. Shout out Henry, shout out Pops. The third person would probably be the first pro player I've ever looked up to, and that was Alvin Johnson. He was the very first one to take me under his wing. I was lucky enough to play with him. That's something I always wanted to do, so I was very happy that happened. So shout out to Alvin. And the fourth would probably be Jim Rentschler, Big Jim at Top Gun Paintball. Big Jim's always been there for me. He's the field owner at Top Gun, but he's always cared about me. He's always helped me along the way. He's helped me guide it to the path, and he always is just one of those people that have always been there for me, that I wouldn't be where I am in paintball without him or any of those 4 people. So my father, Henry Sense, Alvin Johnson, and James Rentschler, those would be the 4 that I would have to shout out there. Thanks, guys.
No, dude. Awesome. And yeah, like Top Gun's definitely top level field, man. If you haven't been there, definitely head over there, check them out. I mean, they have the hyperball field, and the mounds field there that the blasters and, myself are always down there practicing, have those guys there. So if you're in the area, definitely go check out Top Gun. And again, dude, before we sign off here, again, it's tell a friend season. So I need you to be my friend and tell one of your friends about this show, man. Grassroots growth, man. Let's get these numbers up. Let's get the YouTube subs up. Let's get all that stuff in. And thank you guys, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Y'all have a good night, man.
Take it easy, everybody.